with the Rodeo Honey. And I'm Becky Partain. With me as always is the Rodeo Honey,
Eddie Lou Curtis Burleson.
So last time we talked about Denver.
Yes.
And we talked about how your daddy would leave from Christmas, go up to Denver, and then drive right past you chopping ice and straight on to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
But with good reason, because that rodeo, he had been going for a long time by the time you came along. At least 20 years.
More than that, I believe. Yeah.
At least 20. And there were some real highs at Fort Worth and a few lows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you were a kid, what was he doing at Fort Worth?
Judging.
Okay. And so we've got this. And tell me about this picture.
Okay, this is my dad, and this is Carl Dossie. I believe he's from New Mexico, and he signed it to the best rodeo judge he ever worked with. And then Skeeter Richardson, the photographer, wrote it on the back, compliments of him. Mm-hmm. And the Expo, Southwest Expo Fort Worth show, 1953.
There you go. And so we know he was a well thought of judge, arena director, and everything. But he started out cowboying.
Cowboy.
Yep. So this article is from Phoenix, and this is 1949, I guess, when this was written, and it says he's talking about the article is talking about your dad being the foreman for Butler Brothers.
Yeah.
And so how did they come together? Just rodeoing and
just rodeoing it from the very beginning. Practically when they got started, they were together. Oklahoma boys,
right, and out west too.
Out west, so, and everything. And Daddy was very good friends with Lynn and Jake and Boss, and as young guys starting their rodeo careers and everything. That book that was written about the Butler Brothers Rodeo Company and Butler and Son is a fantastic history of.
And we'll put a link to that in our YouTube notes, and maybe in our. We'll put a link in somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. Somewhere. All right. So anyway, he was a foreman, and this was written in 1949, and it's talking about that he was picking the broncs, and he would find them at smaller rodeo strings, and they were starting to raise some themselves. And it talks about a horse named Bandit, and I'll just pick it up in this last paragraph here. It says, Curtis regards Bandit as the roughest of the bunch. The little bay contorts with a kind of quiet fury, ducking, dodging, shoulder whipping that unseats riders, but it's often missed by the grandstand customers. None of the tricks are missed by old hand Curtis. He first rodeoed in Phoenix in 1928, and it was here in the early 40s that he outlasted the late Hell's Angel. A wily one he puts first among the rank rip snorters before midnight even. So I'm going to read the rest of this article in a minute, but who are Hell's Angel and Midnight?
Well, they were the toughest bucking horses of the time. And Midnight went down as, I think, only ridden once by Pete Knight. Mm-hmm. Hell's Angel was ridden very few times, but they are buried at Oklahoma City, out in the garden of the Cowboy Hall of Fame there.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. So I would say go, if you're ever in Oklahoma City, definitely, it's worth a stop, isn't it?
Oh yes, there's a lot of Western art and a lot of history.
Okay, so we're going back to Fort Worth, and so in this article from Phoenix, he was talking about his previous rides and the broncs that were really just, the paper calls them rip rank snorters. But anyway, it says that earlier that year, when I guess that's early 40s, he outlasted Hell's Angel. And it says that same year he drew midnight at Fort Worth. His ride still starts arguments 3 decades later. And it says he was thrown, but some timers were too slow with the 10-second whistle. So not 8 seconds.
Not 8, but 10.
But 10. And they were too slow with the 10-second whistle. And that cowboy stuck on long enough despite an official ruling otherwise. So it was very controversial.
Very controversial, almost as much as the miss out of Stetson at the NFR.
Yes, well, bless his heart. Thankfully, and I'll tell you something about Stetson. You know, he didn't complain about it.
No, he didn't.
He used it as fuel, and it's funny because when your dad was asked about that ride, and I mean, I bet that that's the one that he is probably stuck with him the most. But he said, Ed simply smiles and bites a cigar. Well, I rode him a long time. So tell us about that. What did you hear about that growing up, or?
Just that he rode him a long time and that they held the whistle up, and I can remember Mom getting mad about it every time that it was brought up.
Yeah, I mean, even when I was a kid, she would still get mad about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but that was one day in Fort Worth.
Yes.
But there was a lot of good days.
Yes.
A lot of good days. He won it in 1928.
Yes.
And then, I don't know if he won it any more than that.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I know he judged it and win every year.
Yeah.
For a long time.
But sometime around 1940, he did win a prize.
He won a prize.
And so tell us about that.
Well, he met my mom. I'm not sure if they met at Little Rock or if they met at Fort Worth, but she was rodeo queen. And she tells the story that, because she got kind of tiffed at him, that she was...
I can't believe it.
She was at Fort Worth and she had on her little white...
Hold on, let me tell you before. So my grandma was about 5 feet tall, auburn, red hair, and the most adorable person you will ever meet in your life.
Yes, very beautiful and very, yeah.
So...
But anyway, she had on her little white leather queen skirt and her little vest and everything, and it was cold, and she was shivering, and she told Daddy it was cold, and he said, well, if you'd wear more clothes you wouldn't be that cold. But he did give her his coat.
And true love it was.
True love it was.
Well, I mean, it sounds like he was not a guy that would sugarcoat anything.
Oh no, he never did.
No, very good. So they met and he kept going. He won, it says he won, yeah, sorry, I think I said 1928, but it was actually 1932, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So 1932, and then sometime around 1940, he met your mom, and then in 1953 is when he was judging, so that's quite a long time.
Long span.
Now, did you ever get to go to Fort Worth with him?
No, because Mother traveled with him all the time until I was about 6 years old, and then she became a beautician and started her profession.
So were you going until you were 6 too?
Yeah.
Y'all loaded up and away you went?
And away we went as a family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have a fun history at the Fort Worth. I can imagine why maybe he didn't want you to come, because this is a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, because my aunt lives there in Arlington, and we go down to the rodeo, and I was not there.
No, you weren't there that year, but you were still in high school, and of course, Ty Murray was at his prime.
Yeah, because, I mean, Ty Murray's king of the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, and he was the Miller Lite man.
Yeah, and so no Bud Light.
Yeah, well, Bud Light. Well, anyway, so we were going through all the expos and everything, and there was a booth, and there was a life-size cardboard fold-out of Ty Murray, and I asked the guy if they had any more, and he said no, and I said, well, can I have that one, or can I buy that one? And he says, well, come back after the rodeo and I'll give it to you. Well, he probably meant after the rodeo at the end of the stock show.
Right, like a week later.
But when the rodeo was over, I went by to see the guy, and the guy wasn't there, so I just took Ty Murray and left.
Yeah. Oops.
So I stole Ty Murray and brought him home to Becky.
There you go. And I kept him pretty well for a while. And, you know, stuff happens. Oops.
So I stole Ty Murray and brought him home to Becky.
There you go. And I kept him pretty well for a while. And, you know, stuff happens. But you guys may have noticed that we brought in a new prop.
Yes.
And this saddle is my grandpa's
Turtles
Association saddle, bronc saddle.
Yes.
And so tell us about this saddle.
Okay, well, I can remember it in the saddle room whenever I was a kid, thinking I never did want to ride it because I didn't think it looked very comfortable. But
Because of the swells?
yeah, the swells and
back
everything.
seat.
But I think that it probably was. But anyway, when Daddy was killed, we didn't have it in our saddle room. I think that he had loaned it to somebody that, who knows. But by chance, it ended up coming back to us through your dad.
Yeah.
He worked for Shoulders, and so he knew people that rodeoed, and somebody ended up giving it to him and told him that it was Ed's. He knew that I'd been married to him, and so he told him that it was Ed's bronc saddle. But the thing I like, there's several things about it. As far as if you do go to Oklahoma City and you go to the graveyard back there, that saddle had been on every horse that's there except for Steamboat. And so I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know when they took the horns out of the saddles for saddle bronc riders.
Yeah, because now there's no horn.
There's no horn. The fenders tie in different too so that they can spur higher. They tie in a little different now also, and I'm sure that they're pretty light because I see those guys just throw them up over their shoulders, and that saddle is really heavy.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
really heavy.
It is really heavy. But if a saddle could talk,
Oh,
you know,
it would have a lot of tales to tell.
it would.
And wouldn't it be nice?
Yes. But it is amazing that, you know, this is a piece of rodeo history right here.
Yeah,
That it's been on all of those great horses and carried a great cowboy.
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back again at some point to talk more rodeo
Tall tales.
and tall tales. So until then, have a good one. This is Becky Partain.
This is the Rodeo Honey. Happy trails.